Hello everyone, this is Chrism and I'd like to welcome you to a conversation about your Kundalini awakening experiences. First live show I've done in a while, so I would like to say Happy New Year to everyone. Happy New Year and all of the other associated holidays. I hope they all went well for everybody, if they were celebrating at the time. So I'd like to make a few announcements. I would like to, first of all, announce that we're having a Norwegian Kundalini Awakening Seminar. This will be happening at the last weekend of May in Norway, not surprisingly. And I would like you to contact Tommy Larsen, that's Tommy Larsen, on Facebook. Give him a private email and he'll give you all the details. And so this is definitely coming. We're definitely going to do it, and I look forward to meeting all of you on the European continent and from other parts there at the conference there in the southernmost tip of Norway. And you might want to Google some of the pictures of Norway. It's very, very beautiful country, extremely beautiful country. And the water will be right next to a huge expanse of water, the ocean. And Kundalini always comes across very well when you have a large body of water near it. So really excited about this and would really like to meet you all. So do your best to make it over there. And once again, contact Tommy Larsen. Tommylarsen, and he'll give you location details and anything else that you may need to know about it. Now, he has gone out of his way to make this very, very accessible to people. And I really want to give a shout out of thanks to Tommy, or Tomei as I call him. I don't know why that just came to me one day when I was talking with it. Like Tomei is this shamanic version of Tommy. Anyway, he's really gone out of the way to make this an accessible event. You can camp. There's floor space. There's a hotel if you want a hotel, and it's all within reach. Very easy reach at the seminar site. It's right on the ocean. So if you wish to take a dip in the pristine waters off of southern Norway, you may do so at will, I suppose, except maybe during the seminar. So yeah, there's a lot of different things too. There's archaeological sites that are nearby. It's the home of the Vikings and the Yggdrasil tree. I mean, it's very, very spiritual, very high energy place. And I really look forward to visiting Norway and working with people who are coming to this conference. So once again, thank you, Tommy Larsen. And for those of you that are interested, please give him an email and he'll talk to you about the specifics. I don't speak Norwegian, and so Tommy would be the one to talk to about these things. So once again, I would in this conversation. Well, also, so there is also a Kundalini activist page that has been created by our lovely Julia Galfi. And I would like everybody who watches this to go over to the Kundalini Activist page and like it or comment on it in some way, because activism and Kundalini kind of go hand in hand. And I mean, even if you read Gopi Krishna's work, once he got out of resisting the Kundalini and, trying to figure out what it was and all these things, he got involved in civic opportunities. He was, I think he was supporting the rights of women in certain parts of India, which is a big deal because it that was so long ago in the late 30s and 40s of the last century. I mean, he was coming out like an early feminist. And, because of course we have the sacred feminine flowing through us as we have the Kundalini. And so, of course, that makes absolute sense. But yeah, get involved. Be a Kundalini activist. And look at the options that Julia has posted on the Kundalini activist page on Facebook. And I really recommend that you follow the page and you participate in that type of adventure. It is so important. How do you expect to change the world if you're just sitting on the couch thumbing through the internet? I know I used my finger. It should have went like that. Activism is a very important thing, and I've supported different levels of femininity, feminism. My mother raised us kids, because she was a solo parent. We grew up in a very feminist-oriented household. And, everybody got to do this, the full spread of chores throughout the house. The boys washed the dishes, and the girls were out there in the fields. So, we had that blessing of a teaching from our mother, and my love to her. She's doing great. So there's that. Also, I've been supportive of the fight against ageism, or judging people because of their age, and thinking that, oh gosh, since they're past, productive years of, like, say, from 20s to 60 or whatever it would be, that, oh, okay, they're just a throwaway population, and they're not at all a throwaway population. And so I've supported that. And I, of course, support environmental programs and recycling programs, things of that nature, and also do-it-yourself, energetic, generative programs. All of these things that are offered in the mundane world. You can support these things, and this is how we make change in this world. It's the Kundalini people. It's all on your shoulders. No pressure. Sorry. So, yes. Try to get involved with that. Go to that Kundalini activist page, and I want to give a shout out of thank you to Julia Galfi for creating it, and for all of the Kundalini supportive pages that she puts out. She's on Instagram and of course Facebook, and she belongs. I think she's also on Twitter, and she puts out Kundalini based wisdom that can be very helpful to people inside of this process, or even if they aren't inside the process, but they're being called to that wisdom, and that kind of gives them an idea where they're heading. So a shout out of gratitude to Julia Galfi for that as well. In addition, David and Eamon and Julia and Magdalene de Deus, the moderators on the Facebook group, I would like to say thank you for your excellent work that you are doing and that you continue to do and what that you have done. Amazing, amazing people we're gifted with being surrounded by and lightly governed by on the Facebook Kundalini Awakening exclamation group. And so I just want to say thank you to these folks as well. Very, very good people. And from all over the world. We have people from war-torn Syria. We have people that are as far east as I think you can get, down there over on the Caspian Sea, I believe. Yes, it's in the Caspian Sea area, Georgia. We have people from the United States and the Hungarian country. We have people from, the UK and just all over the place. And I just want to give a shout out to thanks to everybody who helps and makes our group on Facebook the great and growing group that it is. We just, in the last 2 weeks, we've added 200 people. And so a shout out of thanks to all of those folks as well. And to you who are watching this live video that's being made right now. As you watch this video, I would like you to feel free to ask questions. I'll try to get to any of the questions that you ask. And I'd like to say hello to Indra and Paige and Puchas and Sylvia for watching, and Nick and Tommy or Tomei. Joanna Natalia is here. She's in Scotland. And Gabriel Carlson. Susie Snedden is, I think, in the Utah area. And Paul Lee, Mark Steffens, Milena Shulikova. So I'd like to say hello to everybody who's watching at this point right now. Now to the topic of conversation here, or at least another topic. Lately I've been getting a lot of bliss, just tons of it. And I know I wrinkle my forehead and I just like, because it is so strong. It is so powerful. It just takes you over and it convulses your body, for me. And I get this every day, but you get different frequencies of it every day. Yesterday I was getting it really, really, really hard when I was in a restaurant. I'm surrounded by small miracles all the time, and sometimes I don't even know it. But I'm surrounded by these miracles, and maybe you are too, and so I feel it's a good thing to talk about. As many of you know, I'm not wealthy in the sense of monetary terms, and so I struggle to maintain my footing here in society. And so, I'm not driving a new car. I'm in it right now. I'm driving a 1996 Mazda MPV, two-wheel drive, 6-cylinder car. And it has its issues. Lately, the alternator went out, and I took the car in, and I kind of got an okay to take it to this one mechanic who I think lied to me about something, or maybe he didn't. But he said that I needed a new water pump, and this was right after I spent $400 to put an alternator into the car. And I'm looking at my bank account, and I'm kind of going, oh boy, there's not going to be much left. And but I had to do it. Yeah, so I did it. And he kind of lied about his mechanic having experience working on a Mazda. And so he went ahead and did it, and it, instead of taking it, like he said, like a couple of hours, it took 3 days. The guy had to figure it out, and I had to give him pointers on how to do it. I'm paying these people. And so it took 3 days. But when he had it all apart, before they'd put it back together and put the new alternator on and all that, he comes to me and he says, "You need a new water pump." And I said, "Really?" He says, "Yeah, since we got it apart, there's fluid coming out of this hole that, they call it a weep hole, and the water's coming out there, and you need a new water pump." "How much is that, sir?" "It's $1,000. And I'm thinking, well, that's way more than I have. And I said, well, I'll just have to figure out another way. And he's very adamant, got to do it, got to do it, got to do it. And I'm very adamant saying, can't do it, can't do it, can't do it right now. So they put it back together, and they put the generator, the alternator back in place, and it works fine. And I've been kind of like, oh, geez, I got to replace the water pump. So I haven't been driving it very much, and I've been really kind of having some anxiety over it. And all of a sudden, I don't have a problem anymore. I checked it last night, and everything seems to be working, and I'm not losing fluid like I was. And it shouldn't be working, but it's working. It shouldn't be working, but it's working. And the same thing with electrical on this vehicle here. The lights went out. All I could get on were the headlights. Didn't know what to do about it. Couldn't afford to take it to an electrician. They fixed themselves. And so now I have lights. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to count these as small miracles because there's nothing that I have done to initiate a repair on these areas. And maybe you have also experienced this. Those of you that have the Kundalini, you maybe have also experienced these miracles in your life that are not huge, but they're not small either, because they have a direct effect upon your life. And these are the gifts of grace. Often when you hear people talk about the gifts of grace, you're thinking of, walking on water, raising people from the dead, or, moving objects at a distance with just the power of your thought, or, psychometry and healing and all of these things. And sometimes we forget to really notice the small, beautiful miracles that surround us every day. Not slipping in the shower when you're taking a shower. Little things. These are to be appreciated and to be grateful for. Having, I have a German Shepherd, a crow, a cat, and an Alaskan Husky, and they bring a lot of joy to the house. They bring a lot of joy, and they bring some trauma too. And I'm thankful for that love and that miracle of their presence in my life. And so it's really something to consider as you walk through your daily life, how things get arranged. Let me give you an example. I was walking Inara, the German Shepherd, last night at around 2 in the morning. And, we're walking in a regular route, and I see a car. I'm coming up to an intersection. I see a car speeding down the road to the street to my left, and I see another car coming, down a connecting street, and I can see that the two will perfectly collide with each other. And I was right up there, and I was staring at the one that was speeding, coming down that connecting street, and I don't know, but it just decided to slow down. And it stopped just as it would have impacted that other car. So these miracles happen all the time. And so what I am suggesting that you do is you be grateful for the small miracles that are happening in your life. That if you're on the edge of economic existence like I am, the miracles are really pronounced because you really feel them. You don't take anything for granted because there's really nothing to take for granted, and so you just really you start looking hard at the dynamics of your life, and you can really start adding in the minor miracles that are happening all the time. And when you say minor miracle, I don't mean it in a way that diminishes the importance of the miracle. There's no such thing really as a minor miracle. The miraculous is miraculous, whether it happens with a branch not falling on your head, or if it happens with a car, if you win the lottery. These types of things are they're all miraculous. And the Kundalini is a source of the miraculous. And if you have it awakened or activated, or if you're looking at that in your life right now, then you are courting the miraculous. You are a friend of the miraculous, and you belong to the miraculous if you're in the activated or awakened state. And there's no getting away from it. Not that you would try, but these areas of grace are real, and they're palpable, and they affect your everyday life. Something you need to be appreciative of and cognizant of. All right, so there you have it. This is something that I was given to say. Now I'm going to go over here to the questions that we might have here. Scrolling down here. And we have a question from Indra, I believe. Or not. Oh yeah, here. Indra asks, she says, can you speak on the advanced stage of third eye, if you can, please. My experience has gotten beyond words at the moment. Most experiences with the third eye will be beyond words, most of it. When the Kundalini travels up the spine, if you're looking at a classical activation or an awakening sequence, when the Kundalini, as it did with me, it travels up the spine and the chakras begin to plate together. And so you feel a long shepherd's crook, you might say. A shepherd's crook goes like that. You feel a long shepherd's crook of a single chakra composed of 7 or more chakras. What will happen at the third eye is that a uraeus will bring itself out of the third eye. The uraeus, and that's spelled Uraeus, I believe. And what that is the double serpent, or the serpent of the Kundalini that extends itself out from the third eye. And it's palpably felt. I mean, you feel it very strongly in a physical way and a mental way and a spiritual way, and, just going right through it. And that extends itself out from the ajna, or the third eye, what people call the third eye. And that opens up the third eye. That opens up the levels of grace that your karma and your grace have determined you need to have the third eye activating at. That is the advanced stage. That is the advanced stage. Before that occurs, you can have symptoms of seeing things that nobody else can see, but also you can have direct interaction with things that nobody else can see. Everything from entities to different dimensions to stellar shifts to great spiritual weavings and designs, and how the society is, how the fabric of society is put together. You look at some of Alex Gray's work, and you can see what a third eye can see. And so it's a very prominent feature in it, and it's something that can be really shocking and drive a person crazy, or it can be something so beautiful and amazing that it is a gift in the giving of it. So, yeah, and you're going to feel pressure. You're going to feel pressure right here, right up here. It's a little bit higher than where the Hindus typically put the bindu right down here, that little red dot on their forehead. This happens up here, about a ½ inch higher. And it can be a very, very, very powerful, beautiful, amazing experience, continuous experience. It doesn't stop. And it will have its ups and its downs, and most of what you're going to experience is going to be beyond words. I would not try to explain it to a person that doesn't have Kundalini or doesn't have an understanding of the miraculous. So, yeah. I've used it, or I should say, it's used me since the mid '80s, and everything from medical clairvoyancy to asking to see a certain level of illness or injury upon a person where the skin just disappears, and the only thing that appears for you is the injury to a person, and you can tell them about it and say, hey, you got this and that happening to your knee, or whatever it may be. This is something that comes through the third eye. And remember, the Shakti, the serpent that extends itself from the third eye, this is the advanced form. And that's way beyond words. But she shows you what she wants you to see. Okay? Divinity shows you what it wants you to see. It's not you just, you got to take it out of the me, I'm so great type of understanding. This is a gift of Shakti. This is a gift of Kundalini. And it will let you see what it wants you to see. Okay, so try not to get your ego wrapped around this. All right? So that's as much as I'm going to say about this. And there are no generalities with this. Everybody's going to be unique in what they're allowed to see. Everybody is going to be, there will be some similarities, but just as with everything Kundalini, you're processing this from a unique standpoint of the unique spark of the divine that you are, and that is being activated and accessed and changed and evolved by the divinity that is within and without at the same time. And we'll go to another question here if there is one. And Donnie talks about, could you speak about Kundalini inflating our stomach? Well, everybody wants to have an inflated stomach. I mean, you don't need a float when you're in the pool. You just kind of like float around with your stomach there. It makes a nice shelf. You can like set a teacup on it. That's all part of the digestive process. When the second and the third are being changed, the gastro processes are going to be unsettled for a while, and it will inflate your stomach to a degree. It's not really inflating; it's just forming. Different gases are forming, and that's part of the transformation. That's part of the transformation of the second and the third. And it also has to do with, are you eating a lot of foods that form gas, like, legumes or beans, broccoli, things of that nature will form gas in there too. But she may be having you do that for that reason. And so with regards to the inflation of the stomach area, don't let it bother you. Nothing's wrong. Pay attention to what she wants you to eat. Really, that's the most important thing. And allow these changes to go. Don't, if it makes you look fat, fine, look fat for a while. Women do it whenever they're pregnant. They have to look fat for a while. So guys can do it too. So look fat for a while and let that stomach be inflated, as you wrote, and Donnie, and just let it'll deflate with time. It will deflate with time, and what will also inflate is the new arrangement within the second and the third chakra, lower third, second, and upper second. So, yeah, the whole dantian is going through a change, a transformation, and you need to allow that to occur. I hope that helps. Let's see, who do we have? Tracy says she has the same thing happen with her vehicle. It's surprising, yeah. Definitely surprising. And Maxie Brown says, I should be dead, and I'm grateful every day and give thanks or devotions for that. And I agree with you, Maxie Brown. Absolutely. So should I. And let's see, we have... Yeah, okay. And then... okay. Tracy asks, can you speak on being sick and the Kundalini? I never get sick, and I've been fighting sickness for a week. And some moments it's really strong and I'm sick, and others, I guess, are not. It's kind of weird. You have to remember that your immune system is also going to undergo a transformation. The immune system is very, very, very important. This is why I don't like people to get vaccinations, because vaccinations, are a literal attack upon the immune systems of the person. And so, it's really important to understand that during the transformation, as your immune system is going from a strictly physical setup to a divine empowered setup, you're going to need to get sick. You're going to need to feel illness. And part of that is a reprogramming of the immune system itself. So it's nothing is wrong. You haven't lost your immune system, but it is being reprogrammed at the time. And these types of reprogramming are not the same way as reprogramming your computer, that you just get a download and boom, it's done. It's typically initiated slowly and processionally. I mean, it's a process. that will happen with the immune system. And the immune system is such an amazing organ, and it's an amazing organ. It has so many constituents to it: the white blood cells and killer T cells and all of these types of things that happen within the immune system. Once again, you have to pay attention to what you're eating in order to support that immune function transformation. You also need to look at what level of exercise and what kind of breathing you're doing in order to oxygenate and to help that immune system transformation. It's really, really important to be sick once in a while. But here's the deal. Let's just say you catch the normal flu. You catch the normal flu, and you'll get through that flu in 4 days, and other people will take 3 weeks. I mean, there's a definite advantage to having Kundalini, getting illness within the Kundalini. But, Kundalini is not all pain-free. It is not all pain-free. It is all not, you're not never getting sick. It's never an illness-free thing, because there are specific levels of transformation and change that need to occur within the immune system. The upgrades need to be given into it, and as those upgrades are given into it, those upgrades need to be, how do I put it? They need to have their teeth cut on something, and that something will be some sort of an illness or a virus or a bacteriological infection, whatever it may be, that is happening to the individual. And this allows the immune system to take that step up, okay? And then, you'll catch something else, and then it'll take a further step up, and so forth. Kind of like a Jacob's ladder type of thing. And so this is a good thing. I'm glad to hear that you got sick. And I wish you more illness as your immune system is continuously upgraded. The same thing with me. Same thing with me. All right, now let's look here. Got some more things here. So there we go. And any tips on adaptogens like ashwagandha and the many different types of ginsengs, and they're good. Take them. If your Kundalini is telling you to take them, then take them. But also look at some of the superfoods too, like avocado and banana, some of the super fruits. Check these out too, in addition to the adaptogens. I'm trying to think of that one from South America. Anyway, just look up superfoods and you'll see them listed there. Really good. Really good. Eat them as you can, and in addition to the adaptogens. Don't go overboard with the adaptogen. It's not a more is better type of thing. Find a standard milligram count and take it. Like with ginseng, I'd take, like, say, 500 milligrams of a capsule of red Panax ginseng in hot water, because I like the way it tastes. It tastes like dirt, but I kind of like the flavor of that specific dirt. Ginseng is a very, very powerful adaptogen. The word adaptogen means that it will adapt to whatever issue needs to be taken care of within the human body. And so I got my neighbor mowing the lawn right now, so we'll see if you can hear that. I hope you can't. So moving on here, what's the difference between Kundalini activation and awakening? The difference is that as the activation sets in, it is preparing the body, mind, soul, psychology, spirituality, and emotions for the changes that are required in order to have an awakening occur. And so the activation is really, they're both equally important, because one supports the other. And so the activation, you get a lot of phenomena during the activation because you're preparing for the spinal sweep. The spinal sweep is when the chakras meld together or plate together, and the energy shoots up from the base of the spine, coming out of the fontanelle, showering down around the individual. That is the insertion into the divine dimension, and the divine dimension inserting itself into the physical dimension, the two that are one and the one that is two. So that is the main difference. The Kundalini activation is pushing one, encouraging one, compelling one to come into the awakening, to purify themselves to the degree that an awakening can occur, a spinal sweep can occur, and the person can enter into the heavenly fields that way. And then the awakening is actually living half on earth and half in the heavenly fields as the Kundalini allows you to live. So there you have that. People think veganism is the way, not always. Have to listen to your own body. Yeah, veganism is a dietary disease. I've said it, okay? Vegan people, first of all, are so opinionated about veganism, and they don't want to eat anything that has eyes or anything that looks back at them or thinking, we're just dealing with mammalian species, basically. To have eyes that are like our eyes. Plants have eyes, okay? Viruses have eyes. Bacteria have eyes. All life needs to be valued, and part of that value is the gratitude that we give life, that is giving its life for its continuation within us, and for the life that it represents in us. So we share our life with those lives that we consume. And vegan people just don't seem to understand that. They're at a certain stage of development, and they're looking at not killing things. And I think that's great. That's really a good part of the whole vegan mindset. But they need to look at life needing life to live life. And that is the big example that the Shakti Kundalini gives us through nature of what this world is about. We eat life to continue life. And the lion eats the deer eats the plants consume the minerals and the nutrients of the soil, the viruses, the bacteria. Plants consume these things. Fungi can consume these things. This is the natural pattern of life on this world. And human ideologies, such as like a teddy bear ideology like veganism, doesn't really help. Doesn't really help you. And you can be vegetarian. You can be a vegetarian, and you can have vegetarian ideologies, but within Kundalini, you're going to need to be an omnivore. You're going to need to eat the meat. When she compels you to eat the meat, you don't resist it. You're going to need to eat the fruits and the vegetables when she compels you to eat the fruits and vegetables, and you don't resist it. Okay, that's Kundalini. That's the Kundalini diet. I'll write the book, Kundalini Diet. Okay, all right. Circle of Life, Sonia, that's correct. That is correct. Okay, well, I just want to say thank you for everyone who is watching. I haven't done these in a while, and this will be posted on my page. And David Sulabarizde will post this on our YouTube channel. And I believe that's Divine Kundalini YouTube channel. David will post it here, please. And let's welcome the new year by supporting our love and gratitude for Kundalini, for each other, for this world, and for our placement within this world being half divine and half human. Thanks for watching.